here on OpenArt, we're going to do something a little bit different than what we have been doing. A little bit the same, but a little bit different. We have been doing meditations that will help relieve stress and help center the body and bring relief. Meditations that seek a peaceful inner existence. And today we're going to do that, but we're going to allow our rage to just be and allow sorrow to be present and to welcome those feelings in as informants, as angels of information and perspective that we can honor and thank for being here. With OpenArt, we're a nonprofit organization, and we use a lot of theater-based practices to bring opportunities for healing and new choices to be made, habit shifting. We usually have Alexander Technique practitioner James Peck with us. Last week we had a beautiful live sound bath with Sasha Wallace, and we're going to be doing that live tonight at the Eureka Labor Temple as well. And none of the practices that we generally use, they don't shut down our sacred rage and our sacred sorrow, but today we're going to really make some space for it and be so grateful for its presence. So, how are you today? Like, how are you doing in the realist sense? If you were to say a word, if I say, how are you doing? Pick a word right now that you would politely say to a person you don't know. I say, how are you doing? I run into you at the grocery store. How are you doing? Right now, think of an answer that is the standard. I'm good. I'm fine. Great. Great. Awesome. So hanging in there. How are any of us doing? Now, I'm going to ask you how you're doing, and I'm going to invite you to answer the way you really feel. Which might be exuberant. It might be horrific. Who knows? I have no idea how you feel, but I'm going to ask you, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How are you doing? Oh, yeah. Yep. That makes sense. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Ready? I'm going to ask again. If you weren't super honest with imaginary me a second ago, be super honest. How are you doing? How's it going? Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, that's understandable. That's fair. There is a lot to process out in the world right now, and there always is. And there are many things that right now are coming up to the surface for some people that have been really obvious and present for others for a long period of time. And the joint sorrow and joint, I don't want to push you into feeling rage, but I want to invite, if there is rage feelings present, that they're welcome in reality. There's a lot to feel, sort of a panic, that panicky feeling about, because a lot of us aren't exactly sure what we should be doing. We aren't exactly sure how to contribute to a good outcome in our world right now. And I think that's true for people in every pocket of our reality. I think most people aren't super sure what to be doing. And the emotional overload can take us into places that aren't what we would normally choose, that aren't ways that we identify with being, or aren't, ways that we want to be. Not having an outlet, not having an outlet for rage and for panic can, can create a shaken bottle, that once opened can become a mess. And I think that I want to speak specifically also, to everybody, but I think that our all the men in our world don't get a lot of really healthy outlets for their emotions, and so often are told to bottle that up and hold that tight, and then it gets shaken up, and there's nowhere for those feelings to go. And so I want to acknowledge that there's a particular burden that gets put on the masculine energies in our world that keep them from being able to openly and gently and compassionately process what they're going through, and that doesn't always get addressed in healing, meditative kinds of circles. We're going to listen to that in a totally terrible segue. We're going to listen to two women that have something really, I think, valuable to share with us. This first one, Tara Brach, or Brack, I'm not really sure. I don't remember how to pronounce her name. She she's a wonderful speaker and teaches a lot of amazing meditations online. TaraBrach. And we're going to listen to a guided meditation that she did called Meeting Anger with Awareness. So again, we're not trying to deny our anger. We're not trying to subdue our anger. We get to treasure our anger as information and look at it with compassion and welcome it, and then be able to process it in ways that benefit us and the world.
One of the questions I've been asked a lot lately has to do with how to handle our anger. And in general, the more we're stressed, the more likely anger will be playing out. It's just one of our survival stress reactions. And here we are, and we're in a very traumatized society with huge anger and rage that's circling around our core wound of racial violence, circling around the inequities between the races, between classes, extreme political dividedness, bitterness, anger. And I've had many people share with me about the fault lines that the stress is producing and the anger in our personal relationships. So it's important to honor that anger is this hugely powerful primal energy, and it's one that can cause horrific suffering, and it's also a force that can serve radical and healing transformation. A friend of mine who's been at protests in DC most days, he's a Black man in his mid-50s. And he was telling me last week about how much he loves the energy of the young people that are showing up. And he told me their anger and outrage and injustice, their passion, their vitality. But then he also started talking about how it's the older ones at the protests, like him, he put himself in that category, that were actually being the emotional regulators. They were sensing when anger might lead to unwise actions that could undermine their cause. And I was really struck by this image of the necessity and value of anger, just feeling that the passion of the younger people and of the elders with that wise awareness that in no way suppresses the anger, but it knows how to not get possessed or hijacked, how to guide the anger. I often quote Ruth King, who has a wonderful book, Mindful of Race, who says, "Anger is initiatory. It's not transformative." And I think this is our understanding here, that we need the energy of anger. The younger people at the protests, we need that energy. We need it. And we need our wisdom and care to guide that energy so it's transformational. Because here's the thing. It's your caring, not anger, that will actually seed a more just and loving world. When I look inward, when I've been triggered, what I find is that I'm actually not angry at an individual, and I'm not angry at a group. I'm angry at hatred that's appearing, because the real cause of suffering are the universal energies of greed, hatred, and ignorance. And they live through us all, and they keep us separate and fearful. And when we investigate, we're angry at this conditioning that's blocking us from love. Anger in its deepest essence is our love that's trying to move us towards reconnection by removing obstacles. Anger means you care about your well-being, about your own and others' well-being. And the more you call on that wise elder in your heart, meeting the anger with awareness, the more that energy can be put in service of a loving and just world. So let's practice together. This meditation is on bringing awareness to anger, calling in the wise inner elder. You might close your eyes. You might take a few full breaths. I invite you to bring to mind a person or a group that triggers your anger. A person or a group that's become in some way the other, the enemy other, the bad other. It could be in your personal life, could be more societal wide. And as you bring that person or group to mind, sense what is going on that creates your agitation. Now consciously calling on awareness so that you're bearing witness. We begin rain, the R of rain. Recognize the strongest emotion in you. Maybe anger, blame, hatred, aversion. You might mentally whisper what you're aware of. The A of rain is to allow it to be there. You might just say, this belongs. It's like a wave in the ocean. It's natural. And begin to investigate with interest. You might even ask yourself, well, what am I believing when I'm feeling this? And then sense under the storyline, where do I feel this in my body? And feel it. Let the feeling of the anger, the hatred, be as big as it is. And to help you get in touch, you may let your facial expression show that, and your posture. For some people, making a fist, tightening their jaw. Keeping the image or the sense of who and what you're angry at there. And then feeling into your body, feeling the physical feelings, the emotion. Let it be as big as it is. And then you might sense underneath it, what's there? What most wants attention? You know, if you couldn't be caught in this anger, what would you have to feel that's underneath it, that's painful? Is it fear? Is it hurt? Is it powerlessness? And have that courage and kindness just to stay and feel what's here, allow it. What's the deepest feeling of vulnerability there? The deepest unmet need? Is it for love? For safety? For yourself or for others? What does this anger really want to get you? What is it you really want? This can lead to nurturing. So sense, does this vulnerable place want to be understood? Want to be embraced? Want to be protected? Want love? Want compassion? And the nurturing is to offer to that place what's most needed. Just be the wise inner elder that can offer tenderness, can offer that loving embrace, can offer compassion. Or if it helps, you can call on something larger to offer. It could be a loved one that you know cares about you, or a spiritual figure. To bring a nurturing presence to that unmet need. For some, imagining light and warmth, just bathing them. To imagine a real presence close in of one that cares. The protection and embrace. To feel held. To reconnect. To belong. And then for these last few moments of the meditation, just sense the quality of presence that's here. Whatever has shifted, whatever's opened. You might sense where you started from, possessed, angry, feeling a victim, feeling a small self, to really this presence and care and wisdom. And you might look through the eyes of your inner elder and scan the situation that you're in. Scan the situation that triggers you. And from your wise self, what response is being called forth? What will really serve? If your deepest intention is to protect or to heal or to find justice or to have more love, what response in this situation will move you towards that? And if there's no answer, just let that inquiry be there. And finally, sense that you are part of many others right now, reflecting with courage and presence on this powerful energy that lives through us. Reflecting with presence on what we're really caring about and how to move our lives and our world towards that. So that we can feel our shared prayer to let anger energize a true healing in our own lives and in society. Hatred never ceases by hatred, but by love alone is healed. This is the ancient and eternal law. Now opening your eyes, taking a few deep breaths. Thank you. Thank you for your willingness to inquire together and touch into what's real. And for all of you, I'm sending you all blessings to take good care, to be kind to yourself, to others, and to honor the life that's arising. I hope to be with you soon. Thank you.
Thanks for listening, friends. That was Tara Brach, Brach. This meditation is on YouTube. You can find it. It's called Guided Meditation, Meeting Anger with Awareness. And I love some of the things that they said there about that anger is our love trying to rid the obstacles that are being presented against that love, and I really love that. I'm gonna play something that isn't the most pleasant thing to listen to in the entire world for just a moment. It's going to take about a minute, and then I'm going to play something that's more pleasant, and we're going to do a physical activity. I love this video. This is, to me, this is an example, a fun example of how we often can bounce anger off of each other that then builds and builds and builds until the roof blows off, right? And as I'm talking about this, I am not saying that anger shouldn't be acted upon. I'm not saying that there is never reason for moving with your big voice, you know? But I also know that often we don't have the control that we want over the use of our anger because it can get away from us. It can be sparked by somebody else. And one thing that happens a lot with kids and teenagers, parents, don't forget to regulate yourself when your young person is dysregulated. It is your duty to calm down and to respond in a way that doesn't kick back and require more anger from the other person. So this is just a fun little video. It's somebody takes two phones and puts them next to each other using an app called Talking Carl.
This is Talking Carl.
This is Talking Carl.
He repeats everything you say.
He repeats everything you say.
And he's gonna get in a fight.
And he's gonna get in a fight.
My voice is higher than your voice.
My voice is higher than your voice. My voice is higher than your voice.
It doesn't take very long for the "my voice is higher than your voice" kickback. It doesn't take very long for it to get kicked back and forth into a place where it's pure just noise, where the words are lost, what is needed is lost. And your voice, my voice is higher than your voice, gets to be just fray. You can look this up. It's very cute. The little app that is in the video is really cute. Dueling Carls or Talking Carl Scream Fight. So the idea that accelerated anger can really explode in directions that we don't intend for it to be. And not only does that affect the moment, and it can damage our relationships, it also makes it so that the anger didn't go to a super useful place. It got let out on our kids, or it got let out on a guy that we had a fender bender with, or it got let out on the gal at the the store or whatever. So we're going to do a little physical activity called tapping. There are a lot of different ways to do this. You might be like, oh no, I'm an expert. I know really how to do this. Great. Text the station, 707-382-1398, 707-382-1398. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little sequence of gently tapping on parts of ourselves. The first place that we're going to tap, just taking like our fingertips and just kind of, thumping the outside of our hand. They call this like the karate chop place, the little place on the outside of the hand. And you're going to tap like anywhere between around 5 times, somewhere between 3 and 7 times. So it's the outside of the hand, and then the inner part of the eyebrow. You can maybe hear me tapping a little bit. And then the outside corner of the eye, then directly in the center under the eye, then between the nose and the upper lip, tap there. The crease of the chin under the lip, then the collarbone, and the woman we're going to listen to says that she just kind of taps with her broad hand where the like a bow tie would be, and then under the armpit, kind of where a bra strap would go if you wore a bra strap, or band would go under the arm there. And then the top of the head, in the center on the top of the head. I know that's a lot to remember. So what you do with the tapping is that you bring to mind something that is upsetting you. Let's just take a generic, like, I didn't get that email sent, okay? And it's like do. And so what we'll do is we'll think a phrase, even though blank, I still blank. So even though I didn't get the email sent in, I'm still a valuable human being. I'm still bringing so much good to my day. I'm still present and trying. I'm still a person who cares about what I do. I'm still really good at my job, or I'm still, a good, nice person. So we'll think that phrase a few times. Even though I didn't get the email turned in, I'm amazing. Even though I didn't get the email turned in, I'm a good person. Even though I didn't get the email turned in, I'm a good person. And then we're going to do the tapping while talking out kind of what that is. All right, I'm going to play this video, and she's going to kind of reiterate some of the things that I've said and lead us through some tapping.
TappingSolution.com. This is Jessica Ortner, and welcome to our How to Tap area. Here we'll provide all the information to help you get started right away to use this incredible stress relief technique that will really benefit your mind and your body. Now in this video, I'm going to show you where the tapping points are so you can get a visual. The first point is the side of the hand, and it's the karate chop point. So tap on that fleshy part. The next point is the eyebrow point, and it doesn't matter which side of the body you tap on. Just pick a side and tap where the beginning of your eyebrow begins, right on that hair. I hope you're tapping along with me. You're gonna follow that bone until you're on the side of the eye, staying on that bone. Then underneath the eye, again, staying on that bone, underneath the nose, the chin point, which is actually the crease between your lip and your chin, your collarbone point. I like to just take my whole hand and tap where a man's bow tie would lie, and you'll stimulate the point. Then underneath the arm, about a hand width from your armpit. Then you end with the top of the head. Those are the 9 points in this tapping algorithm, and that is one round. So what you do is you begin by saying the setup statement. The setup statement is, even though I have this problem, so even though I have this anxiety, even though I have this headache, I love and accept myself, or simply, I accept myself. A lot of people feel resistant to this. They say, why would I ever say I accept something that I want to get rid of? Well, it's our inability to accept a feeling that usually keeps it stuck in place. By saying the setup statement, it sets us up for the rest of the process, helps neutralize any judgment we have around the problem. So you say the setup statement 3 times, then you tap on the rest of the acupressure points while simply saying how you feel. It's not about the fancy language, it's about being honest with how you're feeling, bringing that up in your body and tapping on that acupressure, on these acupressure points. Again, sending that calming signal to the brain, letting your brain know that even with this thought, you are safe and it's okay to relax. So let me give you an example of what one tapping round may look like. If you are stressed around, say, a deadline, you would tap and say, even though I feel so stressed around this deadline, I love and accept myself. Even though I feel stressed around this deadline, I accept myself. Even though I feel stress around this deadline, I love and accept myself. Whatever variation of the setup statement you'd like to use is perfect. And then we're going to tap on the rest of the points just while we vent. So it would go something like this. The stress around this deadline, side of the eye, I have too much to do. Under the eye, it's too much for one person. Under the nose, all this pressure that I feel. Chin, this pressure I feel to do it perfectly. Collarbone, this pressure around this deadline. Under the arm, all this pressure around this deadline. Top of the head, all of this pressure. It's as simple as trusting your intuition and really just giving a voice to the tape you're already playing in your head. You might already be having that panicked conversation. Now have that conversation with yourself while stimulating the points to really see a difference. You'll get to the point where you can say these things, you can think these thoughts without having the tension, the physical response. And that is where the real change happens. Well, I hope that is enough to help you get started. Continue reading here to get more information, and welcome to thetappingsolution.com.
That was Jessica Ortner with thetappingsolution.com, and you can look up EFT tapping. That's what it's called, EFT. I think it stands for Emotional Freedom Tapping. And one I've heard a really good technique is to identify, like, pick a number for how you're feeling, like, as far as negative, rough feelings. Like, I woke up this morning feeling really rough, and I would say this morning I woke up at like a 7 for roughness, like not feeling good. And so I could say 7 is my number, and then go through a round of tapping and like identify the number now. And I might say, okay, no, I'm still a 7. And I might do it again. And I might do it again. And I'll do it maybe one more time. I'll do it a few times, and then see if that number starts to come down. Even just doing the tapping with the video now, I definitely went from, maybe like a 6 to a 4. And I'm looking forward to spending some more time tapping later. One of the things that the idea there's an idea that comes from dialectical behavioral therapy, which is a Western clinicalized version of a Buddhist idea that we all experience pain, but we don't have to experience suffering. And one of the ways that we experience suffering is by denying the pain and focusing on how we want things to be that we don't want to be in pain, right? So there are a lot of good analogies out there, and the arrow analogy is really good if you know that one. I don't know it well enough to repeat it, so I'm going to make up another analogy. But let's say that I get a paper cut, and the paper cut is present, it's real, it's painful. I also am sick and tired of myself. I'm tired of being clumsy, or I can't believe how rushed I was, and I wouldn't have gotten this paper cut if I wasn't so harried, and I wouldn't have gotten this paper cut if people weren't putting pressure on me, and I wouldn't have gotten this paper cut why don't I slow down? Why am I like this? And now it's going to affect my whole day, and these kinds of things. And so one approach to healing that second layer of torment is to accept, I cut my finger. I accept that I cut my finger. I accept that I was rushing. I can respect that I was rushing because I felt like I needed to. I can have compassion on myself for going quickly because I'm a person who's under pressure. I can accept that I have external pressures on me that I don't have control over, and that scares me and makes me move quickly. If I can accept those things, then I'm not going to have self-torment on top of the pain of a paper cut. And so in this world we're living in, saying, yes, this is happening. I am afraid. I am worried. I am harried. I am in pain. And accepting that is true can relieve some of the grief that we're in pain. I wish I wasn't in pain, but I am. And so to be able to not resist that, and to sit with it, and to breathe with it, and to breathe with the pain, acknowledge that it's there, and that kind of acceptance can bring us some relief. It doesn't mean that we accept that things are the way they are. It doesn't mean we acquiesce to situations that aren't good for us. It means that we say, yes, this is happening. I did cut my finger. I did. It is cut. Or whatever else, whatever is really happening. Yes, this is happening. And I have compassion for myself. I have understanding for why I might be upset, for why I might feel this way. And then, as Tara talked about, acknowledging that anger, a lot of anger is love trying to remove its own, remove obstacles to itself. Okay, this has been a lot of thinking about things. This has been a lot of information. And if you would like to listen back to this episode, you can go back to the archives on HumboldtHotAir.org and click on OpenArt, and you can listen to the archive of this show. You can also go back and listen to the beautiful live sound bath that we had with Sasha Wallace and James Peck. If you are in the Humboldt County area and want to check out the live in-person work we do, you can go to openartgroup.org or visit us on social media, OpenArt on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And we do have a live sound bath tonight in Eureka that you can get more information on. And I just hope that you are well, and that you are well in your unwellness, that you don't have to be at peace. You don't have to be comfortable and happy necessarily. And I believe that we can be well in our sorrow and rage. I have nothing but high hopes and great expectations for this week, for you and for me and for all of us.